Hi class, this is an online evaluation of the Wiki CellSite project. So here are the instructions. I'm going to get right to this. In the instructions, all text up to the references section should have been completed. You needed to have all of the images in the main area, or most of them, and I described which ones I wanted you to have in the original video that described the project where I built it for you. Should have five hyperlinks. They must be blue with no underline, and they must be red after followed. Most of you missed that, as we'll see in just a minute. You should have all the links in the content box, and they should have jumped to named anchors or IDs. And you just in general needed the same borders, margins, paddings, captions as what you see in the real CellSite, Wiki CellSite. And all lines, such as the one below the CellSite header, should have been created, and you can do those with an HR tag. You needed to, instead of tabs at the top of the main area, you were supposed to create a horizontal list, and several of you did not. Most of you did, though. And just in general, you're trying to recreate the look and feel of the CellSite, as far as the fonts, the spacing, the images, just everything, okay? The font colors, the italics, and the bolding. So what this is trying to force you to do is be very, very detail oriented. Okay, and I wanted you to create that book division at the top, but not use a table, and most of you did that as well. Most of you, however, did not take my second video where I posted a book division solution and fix your book division using the new method, which I wish you really would have, because I think it was a good learning opportunity and an interesting exercise in cascading style sheets. So let's go to our first CellSite, and I'm not going to name names here for any of you, so that'll protect everybody from knowing whose this is, but you should recognize your site. Well, I don't know, maybe not. They all kind of look the same, but the same comments that I'm giving here is what I'm going to put in each of your eCampus assessments. Okay, so on this particular site, here are the criticisms. You should have used a sans serif font such as Arial or Verdana. It looks like there's a missing book division border, and there's a gap next to the first image, so I'd like to see that get corrected. And the edits next to the H2s are a little bit too high. So if I look here at range and I look across the page at edit, I think that they're just a little bit too high, so it's a small deduction. And links should be red after visited. So if I click on a link and then come back to this page, it should be red. And that was not done here. And that's about it. So let's take a minute to look at the things that were done right. It's got the list across the top. I like the spacing here under CellSite between that and the horizontal rule. The book division is here, and it doesn't resize the way we'd like it to, because it looks like this individual used the first method and didn't come back in and make the additions. The images with captions are good. The contents division is here. It needed to have had this contents bolded and centered. That would be a small deduction. These links actually work, and the edit thingies are in place. The bullets here are here, and that looks to be about it. Everything else looks as it should be, and these little superscripts should be present, and I see them present throughout the page in different various places, so that looks good. Let's go to the next one. All right. This next one is very interesting. This is one of two that I really like, and I thought people went above and beyond. This looks like a two-column layout, and although the navigation list is not at the top, this individual put the navigation list down at the side, so I gave them a little bit of extra credit for that to counter the deductions that I gave. All right, the text I think should be slightly larger throughout the site. Even the headers are a little bit smaller than I would expect them to be. Links should be red after visited, which they are not. So that was one thing that I would be looking for, and missing bold in the book division. So if you look at the original CellSite, there's some bolding up here in the first line, and that's missing. And those are the only things that I really thought were not quite right with this. Other than that, it looks very clean and nice look. Even the bullets are blue, and the little superscripts, he put some links out there for those. So this looks great. Like it a lot. Okay, this next one, let's cue it up. Alright, the criticisms are this. The book division text is dropping. See how this isn't placed just right? And I imagine, without going into the cascading style sheet code, that this has to do with not having floated something within this division correctly. Okay, so it's either a CSS or an HTML problem. And also, the book division width should be 80% of its enclosing container, and it doesn't look like that happened. And we're missing the navigation list at the top. And other than those criticisms, a lot of things were done right. The images with the captions were done right. The contents division looks good. The links work. And she got the little square buttons down here at the bottom. Oh, I said she. Now we know it's one of our female students. All right. Just giving away your little secrets. Sorry about that. You don't know who it is. All right. And everything else looks good. Thought this was well done. Okay, the next one. Here are the criticisms. Oh, look. This individual got the horizontal list across the top. And I wish that they would have used a sans serif font such as Arial or Verdana. They need to adjust the margins and paddings under the headers and HRs. And what I'm talking about is right here under CellSite. There's a very large gap, and the same here for operations. So those things needed to be adjusted. The contents header needed to be bolded and centered, and links should be read after visiting. They're not. The operation link that I just clicked on does work, and several of these I clicked on did work. So that's good. And there is a missing border around this book division, so I'd like to see that get fixed. Other than that, captions look great, contents look great, and all of the other elements are present in this page. Okay, on this page I would have liked to have seen the use of sans serif fonts such as Arial or Verdana instead of just Times New Roman. Links should be read after visited, and they weren't. And it looks like there's a missing navigation list up here at the top that should have been present. And there's a missing bold in the book division. So in this first line there should be some bolded text. Other than that, everything looked good. Let's see what happens here. Okay, they didn't use the second method for creating the book division, so it does drop, but that's okay. It's not a deduction for that. Images with the captions look great. The contents, there it is, bold and centered, and everything looks formatted as it should be. All of the bullets are present down here in the range division, and everything else seems to be in order. The little edit thingies are there. Great. Got to look at how I'm doing on time for this video. Okay. This next one needed to use sans serif fonts such as Arial or Verdana. It has a missing book or in book division border. Sorry, got a little tongue-tied there. It needs to have the little edit thingies. They're either broken or just missing. The only two that were present here that I saw were these two, and they're not formatted correctly with the cascading style sheet code. The contents needs to be bolded and centered. It looks like it may have gotten centered, but it didn't get bolded, and there's no border around it. And the general formatting of this contents division is not quite like the original, so I'd like to see that improved. Links should be read after visited. They weren't. Most of you, like I said, missed that. And it's missing the navigation list up at the top. Other than that, the major components are there. The book division got built, the margins under the cell site, between that and the HR are present. The images with the captions are there, and all the content is there. It just needs a little bit of formatting help. And also, it looks like some of the bullets might be missing here in the range division. Okay, the next one. Okay, we're missing bold in the book division in this first line. And yeah, that matters to me. It's just a lot of little details. It's the sum of all the details. And those little things will attract your attention, especially if you were the client and you're looking to have certain elements in your page and they're just not present. So you really have to watch out for that. Okay, I'd like for this individual to use sans serif fonts such as Arial or Verdana. Very important. Headers should not be hyperlinks. So here's what I'm talking about. Alright, I think what happened, it just wasn't quite understood what I was asking for is what it looks like. And so when this individual went to create these the little operation link in the contents area, that was done correctly, but I don't think that it was understood how to set it up down here at the bottom. So I'm not sure what happened there. So the header shouldn't be hyperlinks. It's missing the navigation list up at the very top. Well, actually it's here, it's present, but it's non-functional, so that was a deduction. Not a full one, a partial, but most. Okay, that should have been a CSS nav list, a horizontal nav list. Margins and paddings under the headings should be reduced, such as in between this operation and this horizontal rule. And links should be read after visited, and they were not. So we're going to pick this up in another additional video, and it shouldn't be more than, I don't know, maybe 7 minutes long.